Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. I'm Ronak Afroz, lecturer of East Delta University, Chittagong. I hope you're all well and safe at home. I'm the moderator for today's webinar, and along with me, we have Mr. Sharul Islam, assistant professor from School of Business Administration in East Delta University, who's also a very skilled and dynamic MBA coordinator. And both of us will jointly conduct the webinar today. So during this current crisis, in this pandemic, we in East Delta University have been quite resilient in our activities and have successfully conducted online classes for an ample amount of time. We are very proud to share with you that the university has not missed a single class during this current pandemic. We in EDU firmly believe that learning and knowledge sharing shouldn't ever stop under any circumstances. EDU has been very proactive and has taken a reconstructive approach in this current crisis. The webinar series is also a special initiative taken by the EDU management. Especially, the idea came from our vice chairman, Mr. Saidul Numan. We are very pleased to tell you that we've conducted the highest number of webinars in the country during this time, and we've received such overwhelming responses from our audiences. Before we begin with our webinar today, I would like to show you a video of how East Delta University managed to tackle with the current situation in its very unique way.
everyone. Welcome to East Delta University's webinar series. Today we are talking about the fourth industrial revolution and its importance in this COVID-19. The fourth industrial revolution is the transformation we are seeing in the manufacturing and the industrial practices that has embraced the latest smart technologies. But don't get me wrong, it's not just investing in technologies, but about transforming how the entire business operates and grows. This is a time where the focus is on interconnectivity through Internet of Things, access to real-time data, and automation and machine learning that are converting factories into smart factories. The benefit of Industrial Revolution 4.0 is that the business owners are better able to control and understand every aspect of their operation. And this allows them to leverage real-time data to boost productivity, improve process, and drive business growth. But to understand the importance and advances we have made in Industrial Revolution 4.0, let's look at a short video that highlights the Industrial Revolution since its beginning and how it changed the course of industry.
Okay, so without any further delay, let me introduce the first speaker of today's webinar, and he is Mohammed Rezwan Al Islam. Rizwan Bhai is currently the Vice President of Enterprise Business Solutions in Robi Axiata Limited. He's responsible for the B2B ICT portfolio and for driving the technology and digital business transformation, along with various other strategic initiatives for the company. Now, speaking of his background, he was brought up in Qatar and studied and worked across the globe. He's a self-acclaimed nerd and geek. Rizwan Bhai was given the first computer at the age of only 5, which set things in motion for his current passion for business, media, and technology. He wrote his first code of a line of code when he was just 8 years old and developed his first website when he was 12. He's an academic at heart, and he is a summa cum laude graduate of Northwestern University and a master's from Harvard University, specializing in digital communication and media. He also holds lots of professional certifications from very reputed institutions worldwide. Starting off his career journey in consulting, Rizwan Bhai has forayed into investment and holding groups, government and non-profit, healthcare, broadcasting and media, banking, aviation, hotel, and other industry verticals in a career spanning over 15 years. Rizwan Bhai has been published in many scholarly journals and books. He is also an aspiring media technopreneur and has investments in a few digital startups. In addition, he provides pro bono consulting and advisory to social, educational, and youth empowerment projects. In his free time, he partakes in filmmaking and has won several awards in film festivals for his short films and documentaries. He is an avid traveler, a chef in the making, and a sports media art enthusiast. Now, let me request Mr. Sharul Islam to kindly give an introduction of the second speaker that we have for today's webinar, and she's Miss Nadia Kader. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ronak Afroz. We also have with us today Ms. Nadia Kader. She is currently working at Grameenphone as a senior HR business partner. In her current role, she is not only responsible for recruitment, performance management, organizational design, but she is also the squad lead of several agile projects at Grameenphone. Nadiaku has over 9 years of experience in different streams of HR, has certifications in different project management tools, and has worked with diverse geographical clusters. But before joining Grameenphone, she was also with Marico and Bad Bangladesh. Apart from her professional career, she's also a trained classical dancer, an avid reader, and someone who loves driving around the city in her pastime, giving her ample opportunity for self-reflection. But now let's hear from these great personalities. First of all, I would like to call Rizwan Bhai to share his insights on today's topic.
Bismillahir Rahman Rahim and Assalamu alaikum everyone. A very good evening to all of you. Thank you, Rona Kapoor, for the kindest of words and such a glorified and maybe undeserving introduction. I'm too humbled and honored to be a part of this discussion and hoping to share my 2 cents on this topic. Also, my kindest regards and gratitude to Sharul Bhai for introducing the topic. So without further ado, I will get right to it. Like all the previous industrial revolutions, I believe there are many commonalities in how 4.0 will also impact civilization and humanity. The very succinct and to the point intro given by Sharul Bhai and the World Economic Forum video has given us a quick brief of the past revolutions and their timelines and what those entail. So when the steam engine was invented, it propelled and it catalyzed industries. It was further accelerated in the second one with the introduction of very disciplined assembly lines. These made processes more efficient and reduced the number of people required to perform certain jobs, resulting in the requirement for the businesses to innovate their business models in how companies operated, how inter and intra-border trade took place, how economies reacted and scaled, and how the workforce got assimilated to the new normal back at that time, right? So if I talk about the specific case, one specific case of, let's say, Industrial Revolution 3.0, with the advent of, mainframes and computers, people in the telecommunication industry in particular were very afraid that what will happen to the workforce and the people who route and connect those telephone calls and transmit those messages, because computers would perhaps replace them. So in the previous ones, and the use case that I mentioned, what happened in all of these cases? For the most part, it actually advanced industries and businesses. It transformed economies through the process of automation and, of course, impacted the human capital sector. But is it not a part of the natural process of evolution, adaptation and adoption, right? So we go from one to the other and bigger and better. Many were reskilled and deployed for other tasks, and new jobs and opportunities were created. So I feel that staying true to that past trend, Industrial Revolution 4.0 will not be much different in terms of the nature of the impact, in the sense it will revolutionize the new force and force us to adopt new methods and ways upon us. It is really about adopting and adapting and about unlearning and relearning our systems, which in many ways we had begun to do, but now that is being very rapidly catalyzed by the impact of COVID-19 in this new normal and the post-corona world that we are heading to. However, what is different about Industrial Revolution 4.0 is the method and the scale which undoubtedly may be a cause of concern for all of us. Industrial Revolution 4.0 is about cyber physical systems and making things automated based on analytics, based on data-driven processes. Sharul had mentioned a few, and he mentioned about factories and manufacturing. I'd like to add that the breadth and the width of the depth of Industrial Revolution 4.0 is not just perhaps limited to manufacturing, but in all aspects of life. We are talking about cloud computing, we are talking about robots and cobots, augmented reality, 3D printing, cyber security, IoT, AI, blockchain, a whole plethora of new high-tech and advanced technologies. So I want to actually shed some light on some of these very quickly and look at a few use cases in the context of our now regular normal lives. And then we shall see how they are tools in our arsenal to make our lives better. Imagine the healthcare and medical industry. So from teaching medicine to surgical assistance, and how augmented reality can help surgeons and doctors in performing life-saving tasks. It can map out a layer of information previously unavailable for them to take key decisions. 3D printing is allowing to make custom components for personalized to individual patients so that they can have a better life. AI can predict cancerous cell development in a tissue, things and do things that can be missed by a human eye or not be identified or diagnosed until much later. So now in this COVID situation where we're trying to access healthcare and facilities and services from the comfort, safety, and convenience of our homes, because we're really trying to avoid going to medical facilities unless we really have to. So having such technology-based health practices, AI-based diagnostics, things like telemedicine are really helping us be safe and keep our heroes, the healthcare workers, safe. Another example from a very different industry, let's say, if we look at the financial services industry and the importance of cybersecurity and and how IR 4.0 components can help us achieve that. We are all aware of some of the unfortunate incidents that has happened in the recent past globally and locally. Now that we are all behind the walls of our home, information security is of paramount importance than ever before. So as you may have seen, many local mobile financial services company are having to resort to campaigns to ensure that you do not share your critical information with scammers, how to prevent and protect yourself from malicious attacks. So technologies like blockchain can ensure that our data privacy and security are maintained, and companies are rapidly implementing them to ensure their business continuity. Another example is, which is very, very eminent, is cloud computing. And let's consider a very, very, very basic application of it. So all of us have smartphones and some sort of a cloud storage connected to back up our photos and videos so that we don't miss them, or if we change devices, we can retrieve them. So in the context of our professional engagement and commitments, we cannot go to physical office premises right now, but we still need to access our work files. We still need to access the software or application that was deployed in our local IT infrastructure environment. So what do? Companies are moving into cloud applications so that you can access them and ensure their operations. So you can perform your tasks remotely. So we don't have any choice. The companies don't have any choice but to adopt them. So summing up, we humans, we get tired, we make mistakes, but machines do not. And this is really about the cyber physical, blend that we are experiencing in our worlds due to Industrial Revolution 4.0. We humans are bound by the limitations of our flesh and blood. Also, fortunately or unfortunately, that is debatable, but we have somewhat apprehension and reservation towards what we call 3D jobs: dirty, dangerous, degrading, or demeaning. Robots or machines do not have those, and they can be deployed in this very context for servicing essential jobs that keep us functioning. For example, if we take one example of drone deliveries, let's say there is a high-risk zone where it may pose threat to the safety and well-being of human beings, such applications can be deployed to deliver medicine, essential goods that can actually save lives. In the distribution and warehousing and logistics, autonomous vehicles can ensure that goods, reliefs, essential services, and personnel are moved and transported and delivered at an unprecedented speed. Something, again, if it was performed by a human, is prone to errors and delays. So, as you can see, there are infinite number of applications of how IR 4.0 is inevitable, and we have to face the truth. It is here whether we like it or not. And in the immediate and long-term future, we have to strategize. We have to ensure that we brace the impact of it on us and on the nature in a manageable time frame. So much like flattening the curve in this pandemic, we have to prepare ourselves from a multitude of aspects and factors to reduce the adverse effects of what IR 4.0 may befall on us and the humankind. So we humans have the absolute ability and responsibility to steer where our Industrial Revolution 4.0 goes, just like how any piece of technology can be used to protect and serve and also cause chaos and destruction. Components, all of these that I talked about, IR 4.0, can be utilized in absolute polar opposites. It is for us to choose and exercise our moral, ethical, religious compasses to do the right thing. And also what we need to do is train and develop for empathy, compassion, emotional intelligence, things that make us human, things that differentiate us from the machines and build resilience towards very destructive profiteering. So that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you so much, Rizwan Bhai. That was very informative, insightful. I learned quite a bit from your short but quite heavy speech. Right. So may I request our next speaker, Nadia, to kindly give some information or shed some experience on the topic of the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Rona Kapoor. Thank you, Sharul Bhai. Hope all of you are in good health and spirit. I would like to begin with thanking East Delta University. So আপনারা যেটা করছেন আমার মনে হয় যে এই webinar গুলা just not for the sake of it, but these are actually critical to drive awareness. Driving awareness would be the most critical stepping stone in the situation that we are in. And এই জিনিসটা আসলে will have a short to long term impact as well. And এই awareness gulai would be what will inspire change. So thanks for this. একটু আগে একটা context share করি যে definitely when it comes to IR 4.0, we are not experts. We are in this learning journey together. And I'm fortunate to be working for a leading tech company like GP that is driving this new normal as an essential service also for the country. So actually, expecting the unexpected has truly become the new normal. However, আমাদের এই current situationটা is giving us an opportunity to step back, learn and reevaluate how we can rise through this challenge. So একটা famous saying আছে যে never let a crisis go to waste, and I think that's the spirit behind arranging this webinar to begin with. Now, IR 4.0 catalyzed by COVID. So আসলে what does this mean? So basically আসলে আমরা যেটা এখানে বলতে যাচ্ছি যে change evokes more change. It's a domino effect. So how are these two related? So COVID যেটা করেছে, it has given rise to a low touch economy যেটা আমরা বলছি, and low touch in hindsight also means high tech. And basically high tech is the biggest driver behind IR 4.0. So যেটা একটু আগে রেজওয়ান ভাইও বললেন যে COVID is making the curve of this IR that we are talking about more accelerated. Now, আমি যদি একটু স্টুডেন্টের জন্য রেলেভেন্ট করতে চাই যে how do you find this relevant for you or where do you fit in this whole landscape? So basically যদি বলি top line we all understand that businesses will change and people are at the heart of this business. So preparing the future workforce is the most critical step of the journey. and capability building, both in functional skills as well as mindset and behaviors, jeta niye ekটু আগে রেজওয়ান ভাই বলছিলেন. So this is exactly where you come in, and I would say that you guys are in a better place because আপনারা এখনো পড়াশোনা করছেন and you have that buffer time still to prepare for what's yet to come. Now, I want to start off with an intriguing research insight by the World Economic Forum. So, 65% of children entering primary school today will ultimately end up working in completely new jobs that don't even exist yet. So that's a staggering number. 65% children will go for jobs that we can't even imagine sitting today. So আমরা সবসময় জানতাম যে change is the only constant, but however, this definition has also changed. So change is also changing. And আমরা যদি research দেখি, so the growth forecast when it comes to tech adoption in South Asia is much higher compared to North America, East Asia, or Western Europe. Because এখানে market saturation এর একটা ব্যাপার আছে, and I'm sure all of you know that software industry, manufacturing industry is very upcoming, and they are outshining a lot of other countries in the world. So rather than approaching this as a crisis, let us look at this with eyes of opportunity. So for all the tragedy that is being caused by COVID-19, the only silver lining we would say is this turmoil is also unlocking meaningful innovation. So these new ways of working more efficiently not only will change the nature of the workplace, but also will make companies more effective. So actually sitting today, companies and individuals that are future focused, who will figure out a way to use today's adversity to invent tomorrow's workplace, will be eventually the ones that will survive and prosper. So এটা আসলে it's not only a one time game, এখানে there will be an ecosystem that has to come to play. So এই চ্যালেঞ্জটা দিয়ে rise through করতে হলে আসলে it will depend on the ability of all concerned stakeholders like the government, the academic organizations like, for example, যেটা এখন EDU করছে. So to instigate reform in education and training systems, labor market policies, business approaches to developing skills and employment arrangements as well. And when it comes to individuals and employees, an agile mindset of lifelong learning and not only adapting, but also driving these changes. So that would be the thing that would constitute the future workforce. Now, কেন আমরা বলছি যে রিস্কিলিং এর সাথে ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল রেভলিউশন এবং আমাদের এই কোভিড কনটেক্সটটা দে আর ভেরি ইন্টার রিলেটেড, বিকজ এই যে একটা ভার্চুয়াস সাইকেল আছে বিটুইন নিউ টেকনোলজিস এন্ড আপস্কিলিং, the work tasks that are performed by humans and those performed by machines and algorithms. So the global labor market, as you know, they are undergoing major transformations, and this has only become more pronounced by COVID. So a new technology adoption gula drives business growth, new job creation and augmentation of existing jobs as well, provided we can fully leverage the talents of a motivated and agile workforce who are equipped with future fit skills. So future fit skills is the key word here. Ashole jara who can take advantage of these new opportunities through continuous reskilling and upskilling. So on the other hand, skill gaps jodi thake both among workers and also in organizations, senior leadership and capacity, this may significantly hamper technology and therefore, of course, business growth at the end of the day. Now again, World Economic Forum, এটা অবশ্য pre-COVID একটা situation ছিল. They have forecasted that by the end of 2022, almost 54% employees across most top firms in the world will require significant reskilling and upskilling. And a drivers of change গুলো আসলে হবে high speed mobile internet, of course, AI, widespread adoption of big data, and of course cloud technology. So businesses will continuously sort of transform their value chains, এবং এটাকে cater করতে আসলে the employees are at the heart of that. They are at the heart of the transformation. Now, while there are endless questions regarding the future, আমরা জানি যে major shifts have already started across many fronts. So এই যে rapid economic একটা effect এখন আসছে, it's proving to be much worse than the 2008 and 9 financial crisis that we all witnessed. So UN predicts that there will be a cutback of nearly 200 million full-time workers across the world. And also foreign remittance dependent countries like Bangladesh, এখানে return of millions of migrant workers might also pose a macroeconomic shift as well for our country, to be specific. Now, expecting the unexpected, jodi boli, we all follow the news around the world. We know je ekhane protectionism among countries have increased. Then technology, we are sort of moving towards everything that's contactless. So যেটাকে আমরা low touch বলছি, so এখানে অনেক innovation আসছে, অনেক contextual meaningful steps companies are having to take to remain relevant, right? And also way of work, we all know je ekhane Rezwan bhai can also add je the way we used to appear as employees in the workplace, that has taken a complete turn. So the way we do meetings, the way we engage with each other, the way we collaborate have become we have become up to speed in a very short span of time, because we all know that actually survival of the fittest, and there is nothing in the world that humans cannot adopt to. So this is something that the world is also coming up to speed with. And also mental health er kotha jodi boli, this is also something that's phenomena across the world, jekhane number of depression, need for therapy, it's only on the rise. So this is something that we also need to take into context jokhon amra kotha boli. So as consumer behaviors also largely change, companies around the world, they're forced to rethink and redesign the value that's exchanged between companies and consumers. So for example, jodi amra ICT sector er kotha boli, tahole it might be about keeping our existing product and exploring the emerging needs. And the game changer might be in rethinking the redistribution channel, jeta ashole customer der sathe amader chilo, and how we interact with customers. However, for example, for a tourism industry, the approach has to be drastically different, starting from the demand of the product itself. So actually, how does this translate to the world of work, jodi boli? Actually, the world of work will change forever. So ekhane there will be an insurgence of a permanently flexible future, and we have to by the day become more comfortable with technology. And also, now that we are mostly staying home, actually amader carbon footprint we will see an improvement, and this will drive the sustainability in terms of environment for countries across the world. And companies will see this remote work as competitive advantage as well. And the kind of expenditure that are there for infrastructure, je building gulote amra kaj kori, the number of offices, that will only continue to go down, right? And jara essential skills er through নিজেদেরকে relevant রাখতে পারবে, they will be the ones to survive, while the others will weed out. And company culture ta ashole autopilot theke it will be more of a design that the senior leadership team has to bring in, and it will also become a central focus as well. And of course, support for mental health by companies will also be embraced. So we all know Facebook and Google, this was a highlight. They announced work from home till the end of 2020. And also a very interesting study from Harvard found out that people were more productive when given the freedom to work from anywhere as opposed to strict workplace requirements. So it's not only the gleam picture that COVID is bringing, there are also a lot of areas of opportunity that we can see, right? So a influxer mধ্যে businesses, they're basically in a rush to reestablish their value and to also re-energize their product flows. So এই জিনিসগুলোকে আসলে to make these things happen, even well-established organizations will start to behave like startups who are very agile and quick in making changes happen. So যদি job role এর দিকে আমি directly move করি, so again there will be an increase in temporary and part-time workers, যেটাকে আমরা gig economy বলি. So there will be possibly a shift যেখানে there will be fewer middle managers and consultants, and employees might be allowed to work in 2-3 companies simultaneously as freelancers. So আমি যদি একটা example share করি যে for example in Grameenphone we have a concept called Digital Ninja, যেখানে আমরা digital skill onboarding kori in terms of coders, developers from the market, and they are hired on a project basis. So this is a phenomenon across the world, and it will only begin to increase. Ebong ekটু আগে Rezwan bhai jeta also bollen je there will be more experts and demand of more experts in the health industry, supply chain, mobile financial services, innovation and design as well. And daily life related ashla transformation in robotics or automation, it will be on the rise. So then top line jodi boli, and I want to sort of finish here with this food for thought je ashole what does this mean for us. what can we do to gear up the workforce? So very top line যদি বলি যে আমাদের এই যে রিস্কিলিং বলছি, আপস্কিলিং এর কথা বলছি, finding a second skill এর কথা বলছি, so we have to immerse ourselves completely in this. And we also have to এই যে gig economy এর কথা বলা হচ্ছে এখানে আসলে creating our own brand, that's very critical, যে who do I as Nadia, or who do I as Rezwan or Ronak, what do I stand for? So that আসলে এই যে পার্ট টাইম ফ্রিল্যান্সারের কথা বলছি, there should be a demand for me when it comes to specific skills in the market. And also doing more with less, আসলে নিজেদেরকে এক্সপ্লোর করতে হবে how we can increase our scope of work, be it in the academic line, be it in the professional world. And also resilience, actually resilience is the game changer here, how we can be resilient and how we can incorporate that as a way of life. So that would be the food for thought that I want to leave you with. Over to you, Rona Kapu. That would be all in terms of the context setting.
Thank you, Nadia. That was very thoughtful. We have never thought about industrial revolution and how it's going to impact our job in that way. I think that was a very great insight. Actually, I have a question for Rizwan Bhai. Even though the topic today is about industrial revolution catalyzed by COVID-19, but isn't it also true that COVID-19 will create an acceleration in innovation? I mean, companies throughout the world are adopting wait and see approach in COVID-19. Then do you think that COVID-19 is going to be an accelerator or a hinder into Industrial Revolution 4.0?
All right. Thanks, Sharul Bhai. So I cannot speak for all the companies in the world, but let me answer your question with an example. And I'll try to contextualize that. So as the country's fastest growing telco and a leading tech company, Robi, we pride ourselves in providing very essential services, and especially in this context of connectivity and ICT solutions. And we are heavily involved in all the components such as analytics, IoT, robotic process automation for ourselves and our clients. So I can share how we are approaching it since we are in the heart of it. So companies are waiting for, adopting a wait and see approach. The companies who are doing that, I fear for their future. I am truly concerned because there's a common misconception, and that is that innovation costs money or investment. Not necessarily. Innovation and internal innovation for companies to adopt, certain processes, innovation within the people, innovation within the product lines. These are practices that a company which is agile, which is future thinking, which is quick on its feet, which understands its consumer pulse and the problem that they're trying to solve, they must come up, they must stand up and rise to the challenge, rise to the occasion as we have. So I think that definitely COVID-19 is a tremendous accelerator of IR 4.0. And if companies do not take advantage of this opportunity, then they might cease to exist. Again, and this is not just about companies, it's also about the innovation and disruptive innovation across industries and segments. So if you see, for example, Bangladesh, we are known for our ready-made garments industry, and COVID-19 has definitely, given a tremendous financial hit to the segment. But even in such tumultuous time, we see that there are companies who are adopting analytics, who want intelligent business intelligence reporting, who wants ways to find cheaper production methods using IoT, using robotics, using cobots to fulfill their orders faster, to increase their profitability. We see on a daily basis companies in the FMCG and retail industries consulting and seeking help with us about which product to launch, what should be the next campaign that they should do, when should they open their next store. So see, when COVID-19 hit and business as usual was interrupted, I see most of the companies in Bangladesh adopting and using this as a catalyst, using this as an accelerator to get ahead of the curve and survive.
Thank you, Rizwan Bhai. Very nicely put together. And I like the way you mentioned that it's important to have a mentality change and we need to be really, to be competitive in the industry, we need to really change the way we work, change the way we think. Thank you. So we have the next question for Nadia Apu, and that is, in your opinion, what do you think? What are the key competencies required by professionals to gear up for this new world of work that has been further accelerated by COVID-19? So, if you could focus on the critical shifts required in skill aspects.
Okay, so basically যদি বলি যে আমরা যদি শিফটটা দেখি যে মেইনলি ওয়্যার আর উই গোইং টু ফোকাস ইন দিস কনটেক্সট, সো সেখানে মোর ফোকাস হ্যাজ টু বি অন অ্যানালিটিক্যাল থিঙ্কিং অ্যান্ড কনটেক্সচুয়াল ইনোভেশন. So ekhane the focus before was a free willing innovation space. However, COVID has only made this more of a narrow space where companies need to become more relevant when they talk about innovation. So ekhane analytical thinking and complex problem solving that would result in meaningful innovation for customers. That's one thing. Also আমরা যদি একটু ডিজিটাল কনটেক্সটে বলি সেটা হচ্ছে সেখানে মেশিন লার্নিং, অ্যাক্টিভ লার্নিং, and then tech design and programming as well, right? And softer skills যদি একটু বলি এখানে leadership and social influence will also be in the rise, and emotional intelligence যেটা briefly was already touched upon. So আমরা যে কনটেক্সটে এখন আসলে কাজ করি, emotional intelligence will continue to become a bigger thing. And যদি আমরা বলি যে ফোকাস এরিয়া কোথায় কমে যাবে আমাদের, সেখানে possibly jobs that required manual dexterity that would decline, and also management of resources, coordination, tech installation or maintenance. These skills would be on the low, whereas analytical thinking, jeta bolla, machine learning, automation, no matter which profession you are in. So you don't need to be essentially, say, working for digital, or you necessarily don't need to be in engineering to be somebody who knows coding, or somebody who understands and can apply RP or automation, or to identify the areas where you can add value. So ekhane ওই second skill এর ব্যাপারটা চলে আসতেছে আর কি, যে আসলে as a professional, for example, if I am working in HR, now I'm having to continuously upskill myself when it comes to automation, or when it comes to RPA. So when it comes to agility or project management, so এই skill গুলাতে আসলে we have to become more immersed, and that would be an increasing trend, not only in Bangladesh but also in the global context. Hopefully I've been able to answer that.
Yeah, thank you, Nadia. It's very, we are very lucky that you are mentioning about the importance of emotional intelligence. And I think we'll be glad to know that here at Axiata University, one of our graduate attributes is actually emotional intelligence. In all of our courses, we try to make sure that our graduates will become better leader when they're coming out into working for the workforce. The next question I actually want to direct to Rezwan Bhai. Rezwan Bhai, you have mentioned that garments industry plays a very big role in Bangladesh economy. What do you think? Which companies, well, not only garments, maybe from other industry, which companies are effectively using the IR 4.0 in Bangladesh? And what is your opinion? What do you think? Up to what extent have they been successful?
Right. Thank you, Sharulbha. Very interesting and perhaps a loaded question, because if I start naming and listing all the companies that I think are doing a good job, we'll be here all night, and I fear the risk of missing out any and then having to answer for that. So let me not nitpick companies, but rather answer that in the context of industries or segments, because I truly believe I will not be able to do justice if I'm picking and choosing. So I think apart from the garments industry, again, throughout my speech and throughout the previous conversation that I had, discussion I had, I think I want to mention mobile financial services. I want to mention FMCG, our retail sector, our startup scene. So we see we have seen a rise of adoption in new technologies. Our consumers are becoming more tech savvy. They understand now that they need to actually get services at the comfort of their fingertips. So a lot of new opportunities, and we have seen a lot of uptake in our startup scene. So things like food to parcel to transportation segments, startups in those, I think they have adopted analytics, they have adopted machine learning, they have adopted artificial intelligence in new service and opportunity creation very, very well. So, for example, case in point, I know I didn't say I wouldn't pick one or two names, but things close to home, close to heart, I think I want to mention. So we have a Robi investment in a startup company called Airbringer, which used to bring goods, and you could do e-commerce. You could buy something from Amazon and have it delivered to your doorsteps in Bangladesh. When COVID-19 hit, they did a very quick, market landscape of what the consumer needed, and they realized that they needed food and services, essential goods, medicine, more than buying the new latest gadgets and gizmos from US. So they quickly adopted. They transformed their business model to do this. So this is one example in the startup scene. Very similar, we see another investment in Robi called Shuttle, which provides transportation services to the commuters in Dhaka. And now that there were no cars running, people were in lockdown. This is another, very good example of resilience and quick thinking and innovation on how to use the IR 4.0 technologies and tools to generate ancillary revenue streams and cut down costs and whatever have you. So I think our ICT companies as well. This is something that is something that I want to also highlight. So Bangladesh, I don't think we get enough credit for all the software that we develop and export internationally. So that segment that brings in so much of foreign revenue that is thriving because we have built the expertise, not internally adopting IR 4.0, but delivering the capabilities and tools, coding, programming things, building things for other institutions, other companies, other countries, locally and globally, and exporting those and benefiting from those IP. I think they have adopted those technologies very, very, very well. In my day-to-day job, I look at a lot of software development companies, a lot of solutions providers, and to my utter surprise, it's surprise in a good way, in a very positive way, that I see that there's a lot of investment in talent development, in nurturing the skills of now and future, so that the future workforce are, as Nadia had mentioned, they are ready to enable and build these tools that are innovating and that are contributing to Industrial Revolution 4.0. I hope I have answered that.
Thank you, Rezwan Bhai. You gave a very nice holistic picture of how it is happening and also maybe should happen in Bangladesh. So there's a question from our audience to Nadia. I guess this question is for her because she has worked in two leading companies from two different industries, tobacco industry and the telco. So the question for you, Apu, is what do you think are the biggest differences in the HR practices and policies in the telco industry as opposed to the tobacco industry?
Okay, thank you, Rona Kapu. যদি আমি পলিসির কথা বলি তাহলে আসলে a lot of policies are governed also by the law of the land. So আমি ওটাকে বাদ দিয়ে যদি আমি ইউনিকনেস এর কথা বলি, সো এখানে ডেফিনেটলি প্রত্যেকটা কোম্পানির স্ট্র্যাটেজি, be it in HR, be it in marketing, it's governed by the nature of the industry itself. So ICT is something where assumptions change constantly from day to day, and it's extremely dynamic. And whereas tobacco industry, সেখানে আসলে depth of know-how, and stabilizing is very important. So GP I would say যে agility কে facilitate করার জন্য the kind of learning systems, performance management systems that we have, and the sort of incentives that also come with that, because it's a part of accountability as well. So that is where it varies the most from a company which is a manufacturing or a FMCG such as BAT. So GP আমি বলবো যে breadth of knowledge you have to keep increasing on a day-to-day basis, whereas BAT একটা FMCG যেখানে depth of knowledge would be something that is in focus. So ICT sector, it's extremely dynamic, like I said. So all the policies, the learning frameworks, and performance management boli, culture boli, everything is on the feet, and you don't know what's going to come next tomorrow. So ওই adrenaline ta থাকে, and the policies are there to only facilitate that. আমি যদি granular level এ না গিয়ে top line এ বলি, so it's more of how you keep yourself relevant day to day. So that would be my answer for that.
Okay, right. Thank you, Nadia. Very nicely put. And I guess there are two different industries. It's very difficult to compare also. One is manufacturing, one is telco. Okay, so we are actually running out of time, but we still have so many questions from the two lovely speakers we have today. And it's not every day that we get an opportunity to speak to such industry leaders, right? So I have a question for both of you, actually. It's one common question for the two of you. So I would request Rezwan Bhai to say something and then Nadia Pu to add to it. So the question is actually, what would be your top advice for students in terms of skill sets and professional grooming in the post-COVID era?
Okay. Thank you, Rona Kapu. Again, I'm not sure if I want to brand myself as an industry leader, but I'm humbled and honored. So, university students and how to develop their skills in the post-COVID era. I am a true believer of attitude. So I would say, at least in my team, and I think it is becoming a very common practice across employers and team leaders, that we try to hire for attitude, because we know we can build or install the aptitude and develop the skills. So be always be on the lookout for different opportunities. Since you're still a student, you're early in your career and life, you have better manageability of taking risks and challenges. So throw yourself into a situation where you are unfamiliar, and you will see that there will be massive learning. You will perhaps discover something about yourself. Maybe you have a knack or a natural ability towards something that you have not explored because you were always pushed by the society to do certain, or you have certain expectations to meet. So try new things. And in this world of COVID and post-COVID, education and skill building has become more accessible and has become more affordable to an extent. So I actually personally see a change in mindset of many employers who would previously not really look very kindly towards an online certificate or an online education. That is rapidly changing. Now that people can't go to classes, they have to learn to adapt and learn from online classes. So find out opportunities for yourself where hard skills. If you're a business and finance profession, see what accounting classes you can do, what professional certifications you can do. That is your bread and butter. That will always be the skills that will enable you to do your trade to the best of your abilities and climb up the ladder of success. However, it is the soft skills, it is the interpersonal skills, it is how to give a presentation, it is how to dress up for an interview, it is how to manage conflict, it is how to negotiate. These are some of the things that I would give my younger fellow colleagues and students in universities as parting advice, that try to do those, because they make you a holistic person. As we are saying that, a lot of things you may be replaced by a machine in 3 months or 3 years from now. So what do you do then? You need to reskill, and you need to get yourself in a different profession, or a diverge or converge to a new trade. But it is your personality, it is your values within yourself which makes you you, that will get other people excited to take you on as an employee or a part of the team. So try to build and develop those. Thank you.
Amazing. So
Thank
actually, it made me quite happy to hear your thing, because I feel we are on the same wavelength. Because as a faculty member, I keep telling my students attitude, attitude, and attitude, which is very important for you to get your job, first job or any job in life. Because skills you can always learn, but with a wrong attitude, you cannot prosper or go any further. So I'm happy that what I'm telling my students, or how I'm training my students, the same way the corporates are also you know um, addressing the same issue. Thank you so much, Rizwan bhai. Now, Nadia, you kindly
One final thought that I may have missed, I wouldn't take too much time. It is also that there is hard work. There is no substitute of hard work. So definitely work hard, work smart as well. So the best combination is working hard and smart, but hard work always pay off. It may not pay off tonight or tomorrow or immediately, but there is no shortcuts to success.
wonderful. Nadia Poo, can we kindly request you to say something about the same topic? Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Rona Kapoor. So আমি যদি একটু অ্যাড করি রেজওয়ান ভাইয়ের সাথে, সো মাই ফার্স্ট ওয়ার্ড অফ অ্যাডভাইস আসলে বলতে চাই না, ইট সাউন্ডস টু ডিরেকশনাল, বাট যদি বলি যে হোয়াট উড আই ডু ইফ হ্যাড আই বিন ইন ইয়োর শুজ। সো ফার্স্ট অফ অল যেটা দিয়ে আসলে শুরু করেছিলাম আমরা, যে উই হ্যাভ টু শিফট ফ্রম অটো পাইলট টু অ্যাওয়ারনেস। সো আই উড সে দিস ইজ ইয়োর স্টার্টিং পয়েন্ট, যে অটো পাইলট of being a student and the way you were used to traditionally learn. So bring that awareness in you that there is a need for a shift. And a shift ki ashole the thing that we call entrepreneurial spirit. এই জিনিসটা আসলে not necessary that only entrepreneurs would have that. So এই যে always explore, এটাকে আমরা জিপিতে always explore is also one of our inherent behaviors. So that has come in very practical manifestation in the COVID context. So keep exploring. So connect to people more. Age networking ta, it has become more important here because we cannot physically meet. So age ekta web of people that is across the world, in the country, in your university, across other universities. Connect to these people, and I would say it has become more convenient in this time to connect to others virtually. So make use of that, take advantage of it. And also আরেকটা জিনিস যেটা একটু অ্যাড করবো, যে alter ego, আমরা সবসময় we have watched superhero movies where we have seen Batman, Spider-Man in different sort of ensembles. So আমরা যখন এখন we connect to each other virtually, এখানে আসলে try to bring your best alter ego in place, because that's where the impressions will be made, and that's how you will make meaningful connections. So pay attention to this as well. And talking about leadership ashole it's not a position, it's a behavior, and this is something that you can start now, and I'm sure most of you already have done that. And এই lifelong learning এর কথাটা আমরা অনেকবার বলেছি, I think this was the centerpiece for today's discussion. So second skill টা কি, even if you're studying in HR or finance or whichever area that is, develop a second skill, সেটা project management এ হোক, সেটা coding side এ হোক. So do that. So that increases your marketability in the industry. And একটা জিনিস দিয়ে একটু এন্ড করতে চাই, সেটা হচ্ছে I know this is one of the most transformational phases of your life where you are in university and now you have come across such a crisis. However, I would say that look at this from eyes of opportunity. Smooth sea, as we know, it never made skilled sailors. So ekhane I think you guys can rise through this challenge. And one word of caution would be je amidst all of this reskilling, upskilling, bolchi, there are too many things coming in. We need to reinvent ourselves, but do not forget your mental health. So ekhane a lot of us are going through self-evolutions. Help your peers, help your friends, keep an eye out on yourself as well for self-care, right? So it will be a delicate dance between how you take care of yourself and how you also reinvent for the future. So that would be my expectations from you, and also try to make an impact outside of yourself, in the university context or in the country context, because you are in the right position to bring in those changes and also to lead it from the front. So all the best to that. We are all here to help you anytime, and that would be my take.
Thank you, Rezwan Bhai and Nadia. If I may summarize this for our students, so what we learned that in given Industrial Revolution 4.0, skill building is must. And as Rezwan Bhai has said, that in this Industrial 4.0, education has become so much affordable. In certain cases, I agree that it has even become free. এবং I would like to share with Rezwan Bhai that there are a lot of students in our university who's taking advantage of our relationship with Coursera. They are doing courses, learning new skills that even Nadia Pu have said. So this is very good for them, and I hope they will keep doing it. এবং আরেকটা যেটা Nadia Pu হয়তো বলছিলেন that about network building. Again, possibly you know about it that আমাদের network and placement sales আছে, continuously working with the students, bringing new companies into our campus, sharing their views on what they are looking for. এবং আমার মনে হয় আমাদের স্টুডেন্টরা যদি এইসব অ্যাক্টিভিটি গুলোতে যদি পার্টিসিপেট করে, they will definitely build the networking, build up the leadership skill, and I think they would be good up for the coming challenges. So I think that is all for us from us today. I want to thank Rezwan Bhai and Nadia for giving us your valuable time. I also want to thank the audience for viewing and participating in today's webinar. Of course, my co-moderator, Ronak Afroz, and last but not least, East Delta University for arranging this webinar. Thank you all and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
And
you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.